Quite sure how I feel about them leaving open that one, but V5 may be going to show us some new dimensions to their play.
Maybe. Have they been prepping for this matchup? Of course they have.
Honestly,
wow.
I would have just preferred to see them stick with the Ashe. It's Samdy's most played champion by far. He's played it 13 times. His second most played is Kalista at 6. He's only played Ezreal 4 times, and it doesn't really go towards that V5 style.
When you've already got the Renekton there. Now, Weiwei doesn't have his Graves or his Nidalee, and he'll return to the set. We're actually getting a quick kick and ban phase as well. Chris, game number 19, by the way, on this pick. And I was looking at BuBu in the break. Game number 17 of the Renekton, so we're getting some pure comfort for both teams.
And it's interesting to me that at least V5 are sticking in a similar vein of last game where they have a self-sufficient AD carry that can kind of play by itself and bot. You have this pressure top laner in the Renekton, and once again, a strong early skirmisher and set, and we might just see a very similar comp to last game where their bot lane doesn't need push, their bot lane doesn't need to guarantee pressure.
True. Banning Bard, though. You're going to get rid of one of the elements that Ezreal can flourish with, and PP God's best champion. Not his second best alongside his Thresh. GP going to be the ban, and targeting towards Gimgoon and giving BuBu a bit of a heads up in that top lane.
Of course, GP does have a good lane matchup into Renekton, so the ban makes sense. The only other top laners that Gimgoon really plays is the Volibear and the Mordekaiser, so I'm going to be interested if V5 bans one of them, but I don't really think you need to. After last game, the fact that the Volibear wasn't able to have the impact, I don't feel like you feel the threat, and Renekton does fine into the Mordekaiser matchup as well. They also already have a lot of AP with Lilia, so having an AP top laner would be hard when you assume that Doonby also will pick up an AP option in mid.
Just speaking of Doonby, Karma's banned away by FPX aside. Not often do you see this when 68% of the time teams ban it against FunPlus.
We have seen PP God play quite a bit, and it is one of those things where if you do have a Karma in the bot lane up against the Nautilus, it doesn't matter that you have an Ezreal. You are going to be able to guarantee push and set up for V5 to play that style that they love. But actually, V5 ban out the Volibear. I'm not sure where Gimgoon goes. Again, the standout would be the Mordekaiser, but
because Gimgoon, I was looking at his solo queue before. He's played a lot of Camille top, but we don't like that matchup in the LPL.
And come on, like Gimgoon will play Camille in solo queue. I don't think Gimgoon is pulling out Camille in LPL, but he does go for the Gnar. So this one is a bit more of a. I don't necessarily want to use the word skill, but you know, Gnar wins out in the lane. He plays from a range. Renekton's a lot more about bringing his jungle, interacting with the 2v2, and looking through the win that way. And Mole, interested to see where he's going to go with this. Again, Mole's a lot more of the early game skirmishing type mid laner, so when he hovers something like a LeBlanc, that would be expected. But Mole has been practicing this champion quite a bit in solo queue. It's his first time pulling out an LPL this split.
Yes, it is.
But setting up for that massive wombo and going more for a late game teamfight style with Orianna and Ezreal coming out. But the comp's in a lot of different directions, right? We have some early pressure coming out from Renekton. We're hovering champions like Lux, so we're seeing a new dimension of Victory 5.
We really are. To cement it with the Tahm Kench in the bottom lane, meanwhile, while for Doonby to play Azir, that's just a turn of events.
We saw him played in spring, but hasn't played it at all in summer.
This is his 17th unique champion.
Yeah, I mean, Doonby is willing to pull out a bunch, and again, their composition is much more focused on these late game teamfights, as we can see now, right? Gnar are going to scale up quite well. Senna and Azir in that ultra late game are going to do quite a bit, and they also have a lot of range to play from, especially against a comp that has Renekton, that has an Orianna, that has a set. So I like what FPX has this time around, but I'm still not sold on how this Lilia really works in this composition.
It fits in, yeah. Tiana's been the only person who's really prioritized it in playoffs so far. Well, you know, in the teams, let me clarify. Out of the teams that are in playoffs so far, of course, Vici Loyan was playing it a hell of a lot too, but Tien has put this as a first pick red side 2 games in a row now, so he loves it. He thinks it's high and mighty.
As I said, talking to pro players, some just say, oh my god, the damage is ridiculous. 4-second cooldown on Q, the true damage on the edge, the W as well, having that triple damage in the center. Other players just think it's too hard to fit into team comps. It is too squishy, and you don't really have a way of getting into these fights. So that was what we saw in Game 1, but as you're saying, Tien clearly has the confidence.
We've got changes in V5. FPX have decided to change as well. Going into a Game 2, where V5 still have the momentum, it was a 26-minute win against the world champions, and V5 from that 0 to hero story continue to run forward.
黄明四海。
FunPlus 加油
！V5 加油！
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Game 2, V5 with 1 to start off the series. And coming into this, while a lot of people were talking about, V5 being the favorites, the highest seed, recent performance is better, a lot of people thinking the best of 5 experience would be in favor of FunPlus. It is a long haul.
That's always interesting to me because people are usually all or nothing with that type of opinion, right? You either think FPX's experience and V5's lack of experience trumps everything, that's all that matters, and FPX will for sure win, or the opposite. You typically just go, okay, well, it doesn't matter at all. That's an intangible. I can't factor that into my analysis, and you just go with the, in-game variables.
As we enter Summoner's Rift, sir, welcome again. Doomby's decided for comment here on this Azir through mid, but apart from that, everything seems standard. No lethal tempo Ezreal on Sam D.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how V5 play out this comp because, again, we haven't seen Maul on Orianna. We've rarely seen Sam D on Ezreal. They don't typically go on these champions that, again, when we get to first, second Dragon fight, Maul isn't going to be able to have that large impact he had last game. What are V5 going to do? You expect them to take it slow, maybe try to set up some ganks top for Bew, and just trade objectives around the map and try to get to that 30, 35-minute mark.
Okay.
For the side of FPX, though, Azir's going to push in the mid lane. Your Gnar should be able to get pushed early on up against the Renekton, and bot lane's pretty much a wash. We have a Tahm Kench against the Nautilus. We don't really expect to see much 2v2 action, so this Lilia is going to get time to just continue to full clear, maybe set up invades through the top half of the map, get those items that she needs, the Liandry's, the Rylai's, and maybe we'll get to see the skirmishing power come out from the Lilia this time around.
All right, well, for better success here for Tien to keep my eyes on while we were looking mid. And in these early levels, Doomby starting to shove out. Mol went to half health, and I believe had to use a pot, or at least is holding onto it for now.
It's expected. He outranges the Orianna. Like you said, he has Common. Orianna has Phase Rush. So Doomby going to feel pretty great in this matchup. Just going to continuously be able to force Mol under his turret, and it's going to set up some of these potential early objectives for FPX. But at the same time, right, I'm saying early objectives, but you still have an Azir, you still have a Senna. They're fine with this game going slow.
Note that Weiwei walked through mid. Doomby had to disappear for a second, so Weiwei adding some pressure. Also setting up for the top side scuttle, and Tien is towards the top side of the map. So we could have a full 2-on-2 through the Renekton and Gnar.
And this is what you want as the Renekton side, right? You want to look for these all-ins. You want to be able to get in, get your combo off, pair up with your jungler.
Weiwei, Ward's going to come through. The hop easily to escape here for Gimgoon.
And, we've seen a bit more Gnar this split really coming out from the Shy. I think a few other of our non-playoff teams have picked it up as well, but the Shy obviously being the one most known for it. I think he was the first one to pull it out in the Volley Bear matchup, if I do remember correctly. And it's going to be this champion that is going to be able to, get tanky, especially in that mega form, be a bit of a frontliner. The reason why a lot of teams have preferred to stay away from Gnar is obviously he's a very set window that you just need to play around and you can't do anything, right? If you play around that rage bar, if you play around the mega Gnar, it is a bit telegraphed.
Yeah. But it is nice how it works in the comp. Azir, Gnar, there is a combo there that can also help the all-in.
We saw the Shy hit the 5-man Gnar ultimate, and that pretty much single-handedly win IG a game. So that potential always set up for Gimgoon, especially when we talk about Gimgoon being such a great team fighter.
True. This is praising element here out of FPX. Tien, meanwhile, he's on the bottom side with a bit of an invade, setting up the bot. Yes. But it's a Tahm Kench Ezreal, hard to dive.
That's what I'm thinking, but they're stacking the waves, so they're signaling that they potentially could, but nope, they are just going to crash this in and try to deny Sam D some minions. And FPX playing out the way we expected, right? Lilia, such a fast clear speed, especially with the bonus movement speed you get off of your Q, so you are just easily able to get around the map, steal a few camps, try to get that item advantage, and that's when you're looking to skirmish when you're stronger.
And you move to places so fast as well with that extra movement speed. Spots out that Weiwei's on this camp, but no stolen here today. And for Weiwei, a much more calm early game where he doesn't have to go through the rigmarole of Tien getting that first blood and clearing much faster.
And they are going to secure the scuttle, and with consistently pushing mid lane with their bot lane that's going to have pressure. Again, you would expect that FPX can turn to this Drake whenever they want.
But not going to start it yet. Deep ward instead here, control the bottom side of the map. And it's interesting when we're talking about like this being, expected to be a bit of a slower game than what we expected in the series itself. We were talking in the break just now about how this series could be over very quick, or like for V5, you know, the individual games, we're talking about not exceeding over 30 minutes.
In this game scares me, like, with that conversation, because, again, I just don't understand why we're seeing the pivot come out from V5 right now. You just won your first game. Yeah. It's a style you've played consistently all split long. And
now in a bit of trouble, Emperor's Divide used. Mole in a pickle. The flash is available for Doomby if he wants to go over the wall. The soldiers do it. Shockwave's there. He's walking into the enemy jungle, and Tien burns at first. Mole follows up. Dissonance for the movement speed. But he's dead. He just wants to pick how he dies. Tien with no ulti, but the Chilling Smite and the Blooming Burst. Down he goes.
And great job by Doomby to notice, hey, like, Mole's pushed out too far in lane. I have the Emperor's Divide. I can set up this pick. Tien's able to follow up. Mole goes down. This is what we're talking about. This is Mole's first game of Orianna in the LPL this split. Not a champion he's... And actually, to go with that argument, every time I've seen Mole pick up a champion he's not really known for, the one that stands out to me is he picked Echo into Syndra, you know, the counter.
Oh, yeah.
Then he got smashed. Like, Mole's not been a player that's shown he can really pull out these champions he's not as experienced on and pull off the big wins like Game 1.
Champion pool in solo queue diverse, but competitive is a different matter. There is a 10 CS lead now for Doomby, though, after he pushes that wave in. And Tien gets first blood once more. On this Lilia, he has a 10 CS lead himself. So for Tien, now that he has a lilting lullaby, his gank potential and his danger in the individuals gets a bit higher, as PB going in for a deep ward. Okay, we're on a journey here for the Renekton once more.
I mean, it's nice, right? Securing vision for his team, so they're going to spot out wherever Lilia is, hovering for Mole, to ensure he's able to clear that ward, push out the wave safely. PB has been one of our better, especially team-focused top laners, right? He's not selfish, doesn't play for his own lane, does constantly make those roams like we just saw, consistently using his teleport for the team. And this time even going towards that Black Cleaver up against the Gnar.
Yep.
Does make sense, right? You realistically should never be in range to consistently get off those auto attacks. You're going to be able to slice and dice in, get your full combo off, and back out.
We spotted out Kim Goon though. Tops away. That's about it. Smite's available. We'll take that one away and back away while the Cloud Dragon gets started and taken by Tien.
We said like 30 minutes ago, right? FPX could do this anytime they wanted. Yep. They have priority in bot lane, they have priority in mid, so very easy objective for them to secure. Now V5 on the opposite side have push in top, and Sam D even teleporting top right away, going to try to even out this trade and start getting ahead in gold like we saw last game.
FPX committing their bottom lane though, and even after seeing Sam D on that ward, are not going to veer away, so FPX want to take this, they want to challenge.
And right now, like we said, Mole is not strong. Doomby definitely in a much better position to like partake in this fight.
Well, speed hits Sam D, might be in a bit of trouble. Time Kench next to him though, and the re-engage coming through as the ulti's popped by the Lilia at half health. Gimgoon's on the backline. Emperor's Divide kills Weiwei. And for V5, they might get a great 3-man shockwave, but Bugu now has to do the damage to clean it up. They find one. LWX and Tien are low as True Shot Barrage. Nails down, flashed away. LWX with a great reaction time, but V5 somehow matched this trade.
Yes, somehow. Great shockwave coming out from Mole. We didn't expect much from him.
No.
He's an Orianna in an early fight.
PP God's angry. You made him upset. It's a Tom Kench who just took down LWX.
PP God solo killing LWX is exactly how I hoped this series would go, but let's also highlight Bubu because, yes, Mole set it up. Mole's shockwave was massive, but Bubu's one who got in there, dealt the damage with his combos, popped the Dominus, and pretty much helped secure the teamfight win for V5 because he is the strong member right now. He is the pressure point. But once again...
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
That ward. Red Flame comes through. Bubu wants to slice and dice. Oh, he will escape. They're just around the corner. That's why the control ward doesn't spot it.
I want to take 2 steps back, though, and highlight V5's shot call. Because they TP'd Sam D up to this fight. They get in this position. Confusing from Weiwei. Steam not really in a position to follow up. Doesn't even have enough time to get off a Haymaker, but there it is. 3-man shockwave. Doesn't really do too much damage, but locks it in place for Bubu to get in there, get a massive slice and dice, dealing the damage with Dominus. Great ultimate coming out from Sam D. And like you said, PB God was not pleased.
And you know what? I was looking at the back end of that fight. I thought, what was Gimgoon doing the whole time? He was zoning off the bottom lane, but he doesn't do any damage as we watch PP God just lick LWX to death.
That's true, right? You're...
Ninja Tabi first as well, right?
Was he Mega Gnar in that fight?
Yeah, he was. Oh, and he got his ult off on Mole, but still didn't do enough damage.
That is what happens. We are an early game Gnar right now.
So, we come back, and even though FPX have a lead here with the turret plating being picked up across the map, V5 have a kill on Mole once more. PP God is 2-0.
And once again, we have the Herald, like you just said, so gold should be able to be evened out. And also interesting of the lane matchups, once again, that V5 go for. Dragon, of course, going to be the next objective up, so getting the swap first is going to have a bit of tempo once they push out these waves. And I wonder if they are going to want to look towards mid, but we see pings coming down around bot right now.
And everyone's traveling down. Mole goes into the skirt of vision while BB picks up turret plating top. Here we go, turret plating flying through True Shot Barrage. Just a bit of gold on SamD.
So this is a throwback to earlier in the split, before they transitioned to making those big plays around mid with Herald. Early on, it was always about getting SamD turret plating, especially when he was on carries at the time, like Ezreal, like Aphelios, and really being able to get these more late-game-oriented carries accelerated.
Playing it close to the chest, but, you know, on your point as well, when we saw things like the Kalista, right, where he snowballed out of control, and it was the full carry performance. That's what I remember most of all. 5th game of Ezreal here. And for SamD and PP God, bit of gold in their back pocket. And considering that he was down 10-15 CS through the laning phase, he's now caught up. He's got the Metamune stack.
Abyssal Voyage for PP God.
To get on in, into the backside, it's LWX and Chris, who don't have much of an escape. Dredgeline might just need to be used. The ultimate onto Weiwei. Facebreaker not in time, but he flashes onto LWX, ults him back into SamD. The damage comes through the Haymaker, but the kill given over to this Ezreal.
And it's so nice to see these proactive Tahm Kench plays come out. That's always the talking point when we see Tahm Kench is, are players able to utilize the ultimate to its fullest effect? PP God and V5 showing yes and picking up another kill.
Also shows you it doesn't matter what kind of comp it is, right? V5 are not just going to lay down and take it.
They don't care that they have an Ezreal and Orianna. Like, those champions still do damage. They still have CC. They are confident that they can hit the key abilities to win out in the fights, and that's always exciting to watch.
Good League of Legends is fun. 6 kills, 12 minutes in the game. But I do know that we have a 1K gold lead for V5 after that play. Also considering Bubu got turret plating, the Rift Herald got them that gold lead with the plating going over to SamD, who now has his Lucidity boots and the Sheen. Shockwave going to come in though. No minion wave anymore. Doomby takes a bit of damage, but no one else there. Mole is angry after dying early.
And they're doing this again. This is a very set play from V5 where they give up those early Drakes. They send whoever their carries to the opposite side of the map to go pick up turret plates, because look at your mini-map. SamD is walking topside right now.
And meanwhile, mid, it's going to be the TP burn for Mole just to push the wave.
And it's so interesting and nice to see this done consistently, where V5 goes, hey, we don't need these early 2 dragons. We can try and stack up 4, you know, get a better spike off that. Let's try to equalize this trade in gold, dodge out on some hard matchups, and move the game forward.
But for FPX at the very least, getting turret plating here is going to be so much quicker.
Yeah.
First turret blood should be going down to them first.
Yep, they should be able to pick this one up. I wonder if they'd want to keep pushing, but it looks like they're going to back off because they would have such a big tempo lead. But obviously the bulwark coming in and making it not as easy for them to push.
They have a good reset now with Herald coming up in about a minute.
Also interesting to me that Bubu did go with the Tiamat build. It is quite nice, right? Because you don't want to just be standing at the wave a very long time, hitting it, taking that free punishment coming off from the Gnar. So you're going to walk up to the wave and be able to clear that pretty much instantly. Also going to set up for better team plays around the map if you can, you know, just instantly clear the wave and start making your way towards mid.
Down in CS right now by about 10 against this Gnar in the top lane. Also note that Doomby's making his way up. Kings are getting spammed down. V5 got this turret top side. Chris goes in with the Dredgeline, hits the wall. Poke comes down. Lilting Lullaby available, but it would only be under PP God.
And this also goes back to us saying that Crisp has been having a much rougher split, a much rougher year than he did in 2019, where he is making a lot of these small mistakes that, you know, were uncharacteristic of the best support in the world in 2019.
I mean, he was such a good hook champion support. And now on the Nautilus here is most played struggling as Rift Herald goes down. Tien walks in, but True Shot Barrage flies across Summoner's Rift, hits 3, and V5 get the Rift Herald out unscathed.
I'm surprised that FPX weren't more confident in looking for this, for the fact that Gimgoon was like already pretty much here. To be fair, though, Yugi wasn't showing on any vision, but they would still know they would have the tempo lead coming out from Gimgoon, so would be able to force that numbers advantage, or at least force out a TP, but at least wanting to take it a bit slower and maybe just play for the 4-dragon stack. Again, they have in this year, they have a Senna. They can take this one at a bit of a slower pace as well.
And that's going to be the ultimate objective, because you've got an Ocean Soul for that Azir and Senna. Champions that won't die with how everything's going. Now, I know you're looking towards gold on the left-hand side of your screen. Sam D has absorbed a lot. And Mole's caught back up to Doomby and is now in line.
And this once again goes back to that trade that we were talking about, like being conscious of giving up that second trade, going and get that plate gold forward, and especially a champion like Ezreal who does want those 2 items, right? You want the Muramana, you want the Frozen Fist, you want the Death's Dance. That it's really nice to make those trades.
Lyric, I see a Herald. Now it's going to take the long way towards mid.
No. No, it is not.
Sorry, top. You know, this is top lane, by the way. But what are V5 going to do now with the pressure?
It looks like nothing, actually. I mean, I assume it just was going to timeout and they had to drop it, but actually, Weiwei's coming around from behind.
He is.
His flash.
LWX, Hex Flash over the wall. He has the ulti to burn right into that said wall. Base Breaker flashed away from, not in time. Shockwave gets the kill. And I thought V5, maybe that was an error, but this was set up.
Yeah, it's surprising. It didn't look like the setup was there, but they had the confidence to make the play. Doesn't matter that Weiwei didn't even have the perfect angle to ult. He still knew that they had enough damage to pull off the play, and they get a kill, and they get a bunch of chip damage, and they're transitioning to mid right now.
They pull up FPX. Sam D is here. Abyssal Voyage being used onto Tien, who kites away. Sam D just throwing out some mystic shots. But turret won't go down. That pressure only going to get some chip damage as replay time.
Has the Hex Flash, like you said, goes for the ult. Smited for the slow as well, is able to run in with that movement speed from the Q and the phase rush to secure the ultimate coming out from Mole. And just nice pick.
Every series, Weiwei just has this champion, right? We've just seen it with the Graves in Italy, the set. Now,
I will make the hard statement that, in my mind, Weiwei was the best jungler in LPL Summer. I think it was a close race. I think it was probably the closest and most contested position. I think it's fair to throw out names like Beishong and Kanavi as well. But I think Weiwei was the most consistent performer. He was the smartest performer. His pathing is great. The way he reads the enemy jungle is just so phenomenal to watch. And I'd say he's the best team fighter on the most wide array of champions. Like, he looks phenomenal on Graves, looks phenomenal on the Volibear, can pull out these earlier pressure champions like a Lee Sin or an Olaf as well.
He's a jungler who hasn't had much attention because he was on the side of Suning. He filled in for Hacker in 2019 Summer. Looked decent on the Karthus, another champion to highlight.
I thought he looked good in 2019 Summer, so that's why it was surprising
but
when...
the word is decent, right? Now he looks even better.
Yes. Now he looks phenomenal on this team and shows, if you put resources into him, the kind of massive carry he could be. And V5 taking this turret mid, gonna now turn to looking for those Drakes like we talked about. And guess what time it is? 2-item Ezreal time. So V5 planning it perfectly, timing these fights around their spikes. But Gimgoon has TP, so I'm interested to see if FPX will look for this.
There's a decent shove. That's Dream Dust onto 2 of Sam D and TP God. Expires. Dragon goes down. Gimgoon continues pushing. While Shockwave pulls in 2 in the mid lane. Doomby has to flush away. He's poked down. But that's a 3-man route thanks to LWX. PP God is not giving up, though, running against them. While Gimgoon's on the flank himself, flashes over for the tongue lash. He'll get Dredge Line in, he dodges away, presses B in the middle of the fight. PP God literally just PM'd the world champions as Chris flashes over and Gimgoon not spotted in the pit.
I absolutely love that from PP God. Flashing forward and tongue lashing onto Tom Kench to try to keep the fight going. And now V5 are going to get a Rift Scuttler out of it, and they also burn Doomby's flash. Actually, Chris flash as well.
He pressed B in the middle of a fight for half a second. That was
And let's remember, Crisp is the guy he learned under. Yeah. Not even just Crisp. People got spent time with this whole FPX roster for a year and a half. He knows them well.
Very, very true. Bishop Barrage nails down the mid lane. Pay attention. We've got a Dragon in 4 minutes, but more importantly, the Baron spawning in 30 seconds, which we have to keep our eye out for. Muramana fully stacked by Sam D. So now those 2 items are fully completed. We didn't get to see this.
Well, this was... Oh, you're right. Oh, so this was FPX being the ones to go. I was actually wondering. I was going to say, hey, how does Mole keep finding these amazing angles for these plays? But that one was kind of gifted to him in a nicely wrapped package.
That is doing B and there's do and don't.
It was so strange because, again, he's been the clear standout for FPX all summer. How you have the highest % of your team's damage when your highest played champions are Karma, Galio, like Twisted Fate is insane.
B still up in CS despite that error we saw before heading towards the second item. Nash has actually just picked up the 2 in the bag.
This also goes to a conversation that You know, I was harping on V5 for changing it up this game.
Yep.
But FPX changed it up as well. Like the Azir, right? We don't know Doinby for Azir. It's actually been a champion he's largely ignored over his career. Again, he spammed it a lot in Spring and solo queue. Did pull it out a couple times, but not really a champion we know him for.
It's funny because there's a list of champions we don't know him for. Azir before 2020 Spring was definitely on that list, alongside the Zoe. So
the Colonel, though, still feeling good about FPX.
Yeah, it's trended up a little bit, but still thinks, even though FPX are down 2,000 gold, or 1,500.
The thing, though, is, right, the Renekton's going to fall off later on to where the Snar's going to be a massive threat. I'm going to slow.
Yeah,
oh!
Facebreaker in, they flash on forward, the Dream Dust laid bare. Ulti comes through, Lilting Lullaby there. FPX want this with a TP on the backside. Gimgoon in Mega Gnar form, in a choke, hits 3, and line them up, says LWX. The ulti from Weiwei to delay time, the Haymaker great. But FPX may have just found their fight. Mole on the back end doing damage while Bubu is still a big croc himself. Gets the kill, wants to get out. Julmi goes forward, but he's poked down. And FPX, what happened? As V5 walk forward, Mole's triple set up for the potential Penta. They flash on over, LWX is low. It's double buffs on Mole. He's close to getting the Penta, but they're out. And Mole still takes the triple with V5 getting the fight.
I honestly don't know how they do it. We said Gimgoon hit a perfect ultimate. Mole's ultimate only hit Gimgoon, but still they kite out the fight perfectly. Bubu once again doing such a great job of pulling attention to set up Mole to deal all this damage. And here we see great Devour coming from PB God, but amazing ult coming in from Gimgoon. Weiwei clearly doing a ton of damage on the back of the fight as well, actually. Setting up a bunch of these potential kills coming out. TN has to get out of the fight immediately. Bubu going in, as we said, giving the space for Mole to clean up a lot of these kills. And just the shields coming out from Mole, keeping Bubu alive, and just the innate sustain coming out from Renekton's kit. Nice fancy footwork coming out from Bubu. Maybe complimented a bit too soon, but...
That's all right, he survived, that's all that matters, and Mole moments away from that Penta.
How does Gnar hit an amazing ultimate? Orianna completely flop her ultimate.
Because of that. 5k damage on Mole, apparently. And we have to come back. While FPX, that fight felt like theirs. It's the V5 clutch factor that we often talk about. 22 minutes in, a 3k gold lead after that fight that shouldn't have been theirs. And now another dragon spawning. Baron on the menu if FPX lose another fight. The ability for V5 to walk towards match point as Crisp is running away. Gonna ult into the wall, he's denied. Will pop the stone plate, trying to bring the rest of FPX in, but Tien is now the target. Depth charge set onto Bubu, but Crisp is just trying to delay the inevitable. And Sam D picks up the kill. V5 get another. This is not a fluke.
And always they are on the same page. They're running in as a 5-man core. We see Weiwei going for the ultimate. They all know their roles in these fights. And once again, they're going to pick up another easy dragon, and there's no way for FPX to answer.
And you've got an Ezreal that's almost with a death stance. We've got core items, key items lining up, and Mole with a 10-stack Darksteel. Get ready once again for the Magi's on this mid lane.
4K gold lead on their way to stacking up 4 Ocean Drakes. But let's be honest, it's Victory 5. We're probably not going to get to 4. But still, the fact that they're ramping up this game so fast is amazing.
FPX getting outclassed.
Yes, across the board, pretty much. And it's so strange, too, because we expected them to outclass FPX through laning phase, right? We thought they'd come in with these comps that push through bot, allow Weiwei to go for the counter jungling and win through there. They've pretty much done the opposite. They've taken laning phase very slow, and they've just completely out-skirmished FPX.
That ulti might have done it. The Abyssal Voyage set up. Never mind, cancelled by PP God in the end. The True Shot Barrage stopped the back from Doinby, and V5 are ready to pounce again.
And as we see, right, the big item breakpoint's coming out for Mole, so he's going to be doing a lot more than Doinby will be doing at this point.
And we're not getting, the Spellbinders build. We're getting the Banshee's second survive against Doinby, and the Magi's going to add so much damage.
I was going to say, I feel like the Banshees is also to combat the Lilia, right? So he can't just come in, like, get his pass launch you and get that massive sleep. Which, let's go on a bit of a tangent and say, after these 2 games, I'm still sold that Lilia is kind of useless. I came in with an open mind today.
Hang on. Shockwave. Escapes.
Nice play from Doinby.
Yeah, nice to escape. Would have been dead instantly if hit by the Shockwave. A lot of damage out of Mole from the 2 combo. But what were you saying, sir? That Lilia,
again, came in with an open mind about this champion. A lot of pros were talking it up, but We just haven't seen the value. We haven't really seen what it does. We've seen that it clears really fast, and that's kind of it.
And remember, the best moment was against Suning in that best-of-3 to finish off the split, where Tien hits like a 3-man blooming blows, gets sleep onto 3, and the engage comes through because of that. So very conditional, it feels, so far in the LPL.
Yeah, we haven't seen it do too good, so
hit or miss.
That speaks volumes, but like you said, we have a lot of the item breakpoints hit for the side of V5. This was the exact point we highlighted for the Ezreal. He's going to be doing a lot of work right now. He's going to be extremely safe. So Doinby and LWX not really going to be able to deal the damage necessary, especially LWX, who went the lethality route. All of that armor that SamD has gotten on himself is going to feel quite nice.
Arcane shifts forward, doesn't care. True Shot Barrage again. And boy, oh boy, is he hitting pretty hard at this point. Longsword in inventory as well for the 4th item. Upcoming. And V5 may have what it takes to bait in the Baron. Tien does have the Swell Seed to face check. Crisp is the one doing exactly that, but Mole's a threat.
Ooh.
Under Gimgoon, but they found someone else. Tien actually very low, hit by Sam D. The
Solo
bottom
kill.
lane. Yeah, just Sam D.
Yeah, great. And again, this guy got subbed out for Y4 for a few weeks, coming back in rejuvenated. Looking amazing.
Baron on the menu without a jungler for FPX. More importantly, 4 versus 5.
And everything's up for the side of V5. Even Mole's ultimate just came back off cooldown.
Chris is walking in. Bubia now spotted out. LWX running into the pit himself. Nara into the wall, looking for the steal.
Oh!
Doinby will find it as Nara into the wall. V5 have made a mistake here with Weiwei not getting the smite down. Gimgoon will sacrifice his life. Mole will pick up a kill onto Chris. It's 2 for the Baron. The price may be well worth it.
Overall, still massive win for V5, in my opinion, getting all those kills. But man, how does Doinby do it? We said this is the clutch member the team needs to rely on. Steals Baron, and overall...
Hang on, looking for the Emperor's Divide. They may have found Mole, who flashes over the wall. The Shockwave, though, brings in LWX, and he's just dead. Doinby poking from his side. Now, they got the Baron. The problem is, if they stay for the fight, they're going to lose them all. As Lilting Lullaby is onto Bubia, who doesn't have his ulti, wants to re-engage, slices and dices out of the way. Survives. Another pick. This time it's Gimgoon. Sorry, LWX, who dies.
Exactly, and that was Doinby pretty much delivering over his mid laner. But overall, great job by Mole to recognize it. We're going back to the solo kill we saw from Sam D to pick off Tien, and let's see exactly what happens here. Gimgoon goes in and...
Oh, 15 HP! Oh, the miss smite, but honestly, that was hard.
That was a bit unlucky, right?
Yeah.
Like
15 HP.
I'm just saying... Sometimes we give like the pass, and I feel like that one gets the pass.
That gets the pass. 15's okay.
If it was like 25 or something.
And look, because Doinby now the only one with Baron, for V5 they're like, well, okay, we've got another Ocean Dragon coming up that'll lead us to Soul Point. They're still winning fights as the teleport comes through, and Mole still has 18 stacks on Maji's. V5, after they clear this, we'll see that dragon spawning.
Let's highlight that Doinby was able to pick up Void Staff after all those shenanigans, which can be extremely massive when you look at V5's items. They have a ton of magic resist coming out already.
D. Arcane shifting forward. All right, Gimgoon no Narbar as well, Lyric. We've talked about that through this game too, how crucial that engage is.
Yeah, and again, I feel like V5 are just in such a good position right now because I don't really understand what this Ilya is going to provide to this fight. But still, you know, if Mole can't hit the big shockwave, if Mole can't deal the damage, that could be an avenue that FPX can take the fight. So we're hoping for some kind of big play coming out from whether it's Chris, whether it's Gimgoon to single him out. But Mole has Banshee's Veil, so you have the Spell Shield to protect you. And it seems like FPX agree. FPX understand that right now V5 is stronger, and FPX are sitting on triple Ocean Drake.
Yeah, V5 with that triple Ocean is going to be huge. Baron power play in the top right-hand corner of your screen as well. Minus 250 after all said and done as the True Shot Barrage flies through. They're going to use the remainder of it to get, or at least threaten the inner turret.
Gimgoon's about to be Mega.
And Weiwei's in for the flank. Look at this Lyric onto Tien. He has the opportunity to ult, doesn't decide to do it. And FPX are backing away. V5 now grouped up as 5 through mid. Looking for this choke. Weiwei dodges away onto LWX. He wants him. He presses Q, wants the fists out. Gimgoon into his ulti. Hit 3, but SamD is free-firing once again as Weiwei gets into the backline. V5 grouped up as 4. Meanwhile, as Mole gets choked down, and Weiwei has no support. 4 versus 5, and V5 have to run.
We finally saw the value from the Lilia because the team wasn't able to follow up because Tien hit a massive 4-man sleep. Weiwei was singled out. He ulted Doinby knowing he's the big carry for their team at this point, but overall, nice play, nice reaction coming from FPX.
Yeah. That gold shrinks ever so slightly. 4,000 still for V5, but 30 minutes in the game. We are getting towards those points that FPX, excuse me, have been waiting for.
Exactly. We're getting to the point where this Nars can become a massive frontline and hard to deal with, but let's take a look at this again. We see Weiwei looking for it. He has the ultimate up. Gimgoon coming in, hits a 3-man Gnar ultimate, the Senna ultimate to follow up, but as we see, Tien hits the massive sleep, comboed with the Nautilus ultimate.
Doinby just died. Doinby has just died. 50-second death timer. He's lucky Baron is not up, as Mole was the one to pick up the kill. So,
I honestly, the fact that we just come back to a shot of PP God made me think like, wait, how did this happen? But after the shenanigans earlier where PP God flashed tongue lash,
PP God's had a pretty good game.
That's what PP God has showed us, a completely different way to play the Tahm Kench. Thank you to our observers. So it is just what we'd expect. Abyssal Voyage coming in, bringing in Mole. Misses the ultimate. Doinby trying his best, but the clutch devour coming in from PP God, allowing Mole to pick up that kill.
He just has so much damage, puts out one short combo, and Doinby's dead in the end. And Doinby almost turned that around, actually.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be dealing massive amounts of damage right now, right?
Yep.
He has a ton more DPS coming out than the Orianna. We talked about the Void Staff already. And though we are 2.5 minutes away from what could be Ocean Soul for V5 with 4 Ocean Drakes.
But Baron up in a minute as well, so you can see why FPX and V5 are fighting over vision in this top side.
And I don't think V5's comp can really rush a Baron, but when you look at FPX's where they do have the Azirus getting those items, when you do have the Senna, once again, sitting on a 4-item point almost, that it is always possible, knowing FPX, that they go for a cheeky Baron play. We've seen them do it so many times.
And Doinby, you know, confident after stealing one, might do it again anyway.
Yeah. That is always possible. But now we just see both teams trading waves back and forth. And I understand it coming out from both sides because as FPX, right, you just want to keep building up these items.
Yep.
And for the side of E5, you don't want to get overzealous and set up a pick you don't need to. Let's say potentially throw a lead when you know, okay, we're playing for Ocean. We're playing for Ocean.
Baron now spawning. Glasscone taken. Mole and Weiwei in an awkward position, but the ball zones away FPX. Yubu joining too. And while we have a Blade of the Ruin King Ezreal with a QSS, farming out this mid-wave, who Arcane shifts forward with no regrets.
He does have
is just waiting.
There's a PP God behind him, so
yeah, of course.
He feels extremely confident. We see them trying to aggressively take vision. Nice.
Great line taken, actually, onto Chris. The Haymaker shield going to come out. V5 is separated, though, and onto Mole. Now the target's changed. Eaten up as PP God flashes forward to save the life. Weiwei trying to run away as well as the W comes through from the Nar. Bubu tagged out by LWX, and V5 getting engaged on with a couple ults burnt by FPX.
And we saw nice understanding, nice target selection coming out from FPX because they realized, hey, Mole is the man we need to take down. They all try to funnel onto him. And here are the cheeky Baron plays that FPX loves.
Bubu has teleport, is channeling so far away, though, at 6k. Now comes in with the Dominus activated at 4 itself. Doinby gets tagged out of the backside, poking down. The steal is there. No! It's secured by FPX, but they need to get out of there as Gimgu not into the Mega. The Shockwave flashed away from on the top side of the fight, and LWX is going to meet his maker with a big ball in hand. Double for Mole, 10-1 and 2. V5 lose the Baron, but they got big-ass death timers.
Yeah, and they're going to keep going. They can pick up the soul. They can push in the base. This is the high-risk, high-reward FPX that we talk about. We see the risk. Great team fight coming out from V5. Are they just going to be able to end? Well, 24 seconds on Tien.
Let's see. Tien coming up, but it is just the Lily of V5 are grouped as 5 themselves. Chris trying to defend, but PP God does not care. They jump on this Nautilus, who's sent packing. The white flag goes up, and the world champions are going down because V5 are taking us to a 2-0 match point.
I honestly don't think anyone came in today expecting this to be so one-sided. This is potentially looking like a